Hey everybody, it's Saturday all day, as my Nana would say. Very tired from doing my one-woman show here in New York City, but when I got home last night, I watched a review of the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and I wrote this little song, a parody from The Wizard of Oz for our loving president. Ready? His approval rate is 30. His diaper's always dirty. I think the guy's insane. Da-da-da-da-da-da. He ain't no stable genius, got a teeny tiny, but he doesn't have a brain. The reflecting pool is green. His reasons were obscene. It's him we all do blame. Da-da-da-da-da-da. He grew a magic ear, stole billions in a year, 'cause he doesn't have a brain. Oh, I can't tell you why. Some people think he's smart. All he does is lie and cheat and steal, and he's asleep when meeting starts. He still dreams that he is Putin, while our country he is looting. On humanity, a stain. Da-da-da-da-da-da. All he does is cause us trauma, 'cause he'll never be Obama, 'cause he doesn't have a brain. I hope you enjoy.
What you're about to see on your screen right now is Donald Trump's worst nightmare. It's being humiliated publicly and not being able to do anything about it. So tonight was the redo of the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Of course, the first one, there was that shooting. It got canceled and moved to tonight. As part of the dinner ceremony, awards are given out to journalists for their coverage of the Trump administration and current events. So, for example, and remember, all of this is taking place in front of Donald Trump, just feet away from him. For example, some journalists received awards for their coverage of the Epstein Files, or some photojournalists received awards for their photos of Donald Trump that weren't exactly flattering. And he had to watch it all take place in front of him, just feet away. And his reaction, of course, was caught on camera. So I'm going to show you some clips from the dinner tonight.
And now the Katharine Graham Award for Courage and Accountability, named for the legendary Washington Post publisher, and it comes with a prize of $10,000. This year's award goes to the Wall Street Journal. The Journal's courageous reporting on President Trump's past relationship with financier Jeffrey Epstein triggered the release of the so-called Epstein Files, thousands of documents that might otherwise have remained hidden from the public. And despite the president's threat of a lawsuit, the Journal published a story about a provocative letter to Epstein bearing President Trump's signature. Trump quickly filed a $20 billion lawsuit against the Journal, revealing reporter Khadija Safdar's home address. Her family had to be relocated. The Journal was kicked off of Air Force One, but the reporters continue to file revelatory stories. Please welcome the winners of the Katharine Graham Award from the Wall Street Journal: Khadija Safdar, Sadie Gurman, Annie Linsky, Josh Dawsey again, Alex Leary, Rebecca Ballhaus, and Ryan Barber. Their colleague, Joe Palazzolo, could not attend tonight.
And look at him. He is not happy whatsoever. He's sitting there, he's trying to make a joke out of it, he's smiling, he knows he's being called out, and what is he going to do? And then look, he just sits there. He can't do anything about it, and he is being called out for his cover-up of the Epstein Files, and these journalists who Donald Trump has tried to make their lives living hell, they're getting awarded. They're being honored in front of him, just feet away.
This year's print winner is Amr Madhani and Zeke Miller of the Associated Press. When sources leaked that Trump administration officials were attempting to purge the National Security Council of staff deemed not sufficiently aligned with the president's agenda, Madhani and Miller quickly moved to verify the claim. They uncovered an unprecedented vetting process. NSC staffers were asked about their past political contributions, voting records, and social media posts as a gauge of loyalty to the president. Ultimately, more than 150 NSC aides were removed, resulting in the loss of considerable foreign policy expertise. The story that Madhani and Miller produced is as consequential as it is revelatory. Please welcome Zeke Miller accepting the award on behalf of the team.
Look at him. Look at him. Hold on. Can we just look at him? Look at him. Oh, man. Somebody is not happy. Somebody is throwing maybe a little bit of a temper tantrum, and Caroline Leavitt is sitting next to him, whispering in his ear, "Oh, no, it's okay. It's no problem. It's just the fake news media." But he is not happy. You can see it in his face. You know what? Let me just say something. I'm pleasantly surprised. I thought the White House Correspondents' Dinner was going to be these journalists fawning over Donald Trump to remain in favor. I thought it was going to be a lot of people trying to cozy up to him, compliment him. You know, we know that Donald Trump responds very well to flattery. I thought it was going to be that. A lot of journalists are very critical of Donald Trump and their coverage is great. Some of them seem a little too buddy-buddy with him for my liking. So, look, I was not expecting much from this event. It seems like the journalists and the White House Correspondents' Dinner Association, the White House Correspondents Association generally, they are taking their opportunity to, give Donald Trump a little bit of crap for all the stuff he's done to them, all the times that he's targeted them with lawsuits or attacks or kicking them out of the room because they ask questions that he doesn't like. I'm pleasantly surprised.
This award recognizes a video or photojournalist for covering the presidency at the White House or in the field. And this year's award goes to Andrew Harnick of Getty Images. He captured the moment an Oval Office visitor collapsed during an event. And from the judges, they say this: through sharp timing, layered composition, and visual irony, this photograph expertly documents a true split-screen moment in real time. The president's orientation and posture inadvertently echo the statue to his right, while the other half of the frame is defined by movement. A truly striking image of contrast.
He is pissed off. He is pissed off. Man, again, this is everything I wanted it to be. Really, really it is. They're not giving the photo, this award to a photojournalist who caught Donald Trump throwing up his fist or anything, or, being in a good mood at one of his rallies. No, they're not doing that crap. They're giving it to the journalist who really caught an amazing photo. This is a fantastic photo, a photo that will likely appear in history books. The really right down the middle contrast of who Donald Trump is versus what he thinks of other people, who he thinks other people are. A really amazing photo. Glad that they got honored for that. President of the White House Correspondents Association calling out Donald Trump. She starts with a little bit of flattery and then gives him the final.
It carries her through to the next 250 and beyond. President Trump, I've covered you for a long time, and so have many reporters in this room. When we ask questions, you push back, you give us answers, and we push back. You have always been a deal guy. Well, that's the deal. And the First Amendment is a done deal. And that's what we toast tonight, the freedoms that brought us back together even after they were threatened. So let's raise a glass to what makes ours a beautiful country.
Look, Donald was a little slow. He was a little slow reaching for that glass. Everybody else, even Caroline Leavitt, was performative enough to go reach for the glass. Donald, on the other hand, he lagged for a minute. He lagged, as did Caroline Leavitt, but, she got there. But, great. Really, 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 really well said. Really well done. The First Amendment is a done deal, and Donald Trump can't do anything about it. It's a done deal, whether Donald Trump likes it or not, and we're using it right now. We're practicing the First Amendment to use it to call out his humiliation that he experienced tonight.
Donald Trump just lost his mind getting exactly what he deserves, and that is being protested to his face at his own rally because of his cover-up of the files. This is what Donald Trump deserves for every single day of the rest of his presidency and the rest of his life.
Problems for your jobs. But now all of that is changing because I placed historic tariffs on foreign producers and manufacturers, including a 25% tariff on foreign automobiles, something that no other president had the courage to ever do. He's a communist. He's a communist. Thank you. He's a communist. We're running against communists. Now, this is great. Tremendous problems for your jobs. But now all of that is changing because I placed historic tariffs on foreign producers and manufacturers, including a 25% tariff on foreign.
These very, very expensive munitions, some of them are as much as $10 to $12 million each against drones that are perhaps under $100,000. That is no way to be able to engage the enemy. The Ukrainians have learned how to engage and defend themselves with low-cost alternatives. We have not. And he's blaming everyone else but himself for the strategy. So I think, quite frankly, the Secretary of Defense's days are numbered.
So let me ask you about him, because you said you questioned his sanity. I mean, the word stood out to me, General. Since May 5th, okay, the war started obviously in beginning of March, February 28th. But since May 5th, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has posted videos of himself jogging, doing push-up reps at the gym. By the way, he doesn't call himself the Defense Secretary, right? He proudly and as often as he can calls himself the Secretary of War. And he's also said things like this.
I'm authorizing a new screening program for testosterone deficiency for our service members, ensuring you have the right testosterone levels to operate at your absolute best.
General, what are military uniform leaders, right? People with general in their name, what are they supposed to do given Pete Hegseth and his role?
So active duty military have to, quite frankly, be quiet and, quite frankly, follow all lawful orders of the Secretary of Defense and the President. They are not able to speak up against this in any way. It's not illegal. This bizarreness, it sounds like he's trying to sell some kind of drugs or treatment as a used car salesman. It's extremely sad. The Secretary of Defense, who should be worried about the national security policies and defense of the United States, is talking about testosterone. That is absolutely off the charts in terms of concern. Physical fitness is critically important. Appearance is critically important, but it is not critical at the Secretary of Defense level not to focus on our defense of the United States.
Oh, well, baby, you ain't gonna believe this shit. So you know how they removed the names of those 4 soldiers? Because he claimed that it was a ceasefire. It had nothing to do with his war because it was a ceasefire. In their mind, technically, those 4 soldiers don't count because they were off duty, off of war duty. War off don't count. Even though it was the enemy that struck them and killed them, it still don't count. So according to the current administration, a soldier's life doesn't matter if they're technically off of, his war duty. Then explain to me why ICE.gov has a page honoring our fallen ICE officers. First, you're going to have to explain to me why you've got from 1915 to 2026, because ICE did not exist till 2003. ICE did not exist until 2003. Secondly, the 29 names you have listed. Why do we have all 29 names of those that have worked for ICE that have died listed, since only one officer died in the line of duty? And he was in Mexico doing an operation and the cartel got him. One other ICE officer was on duty, but he was just sitting in his patrol car and had a heart attack. One other ICE officer was off duty in his home when an escaped convict came in and, shot him. Could have happened to anybody. It had nothing to do with him being an ICE officer. All of the rest died from COVID, off duty. Some of them died after 9/11 from cancer and, working at the scene. A few were injured, not dead, but injured by their own hand because they don't know how to handle a weapon. So we don't honor the 4 soldiers that were in a war zone during an active war because in his mind, they weren't really on war duty. But we've got a whole page of 29 names dedicated to honoring fallen ICE officers who died from cancer and illness and viruses. Could it be to push the narrative to the public that the frozen crew, their job is dangerous, so you should look the other way when they murder somebody in the streets? Look at all the ICE agents who've died. Feel sorry for them. To prop up that narrative, to excuse violence. Is that why? Is that why they have a page with all their names listed, even if they died of the fucking flu? But the 4 soldiers over there fighting a war that was active and going on just because we weren't shooting anybody. There's not a ceasefire now. Last night, while they were doing their little dinner for the press, we didn't fire any shots after 13 straight nights of bombarding the Middle East. They took a night off while they went and had their feast. So, if any soldiers died last night, did they not count? Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah. He thinks if his body count from the war is lower than another war, then he must have won the war. If his body count of officers that work for the frozen crew is high, then that justifies them having absolute immunity, no accountability, being violent with people in the street, using the death of people for your own political gain, for your own ego, creating a narrative, whether they're dead police, dead military, dead border patrol, dead children, dead women. Is nothing sacred anymore? Nothing? Yeah, nothing. There's no more line anywhere. There are no lines. And if that doesn't tell you this in the United States of the land that is not real, I don't know what does. How do they feel about lines? How do they feel about having borders? How do they feel about being told no? Yeah. Wake up, America. Because they're going to use your life to spin a story, to spin a narrative. Just like they did with Lycan Riley. After her father cried and begged for them to stop using his daughter's name to push an agenda. Imagine how they feel today that their daughter's name was used to invoke gunning people down in the street, deporting children to God knows where. People are being starved and beaten and raped and murdered inside of concentration camps. And they used his daughter's name for approval to promote that. Nothing is sacred to these people. I don't care what you believe, but nothing they do in any kind of way is godly or godlike. Not any God I'd want to worship.
Hey! Fuck you! Hey, fuck you! You guys are all on video. No, take my phone. Hey, you got my phone. Where is the paperwork for that? Where's the?
They do it on target. They do it on target.
Hey, don't. Stand up. Where are their points? Hey, fucking worker. Anybody else? Going to ask where the fuck the words are. You guys don't have the right. What's your name? What's your name?
Jonathan Aguilar Garcia.
I'm literally a U.S. citizen. Give us a phone number.
U.S. citizen. Get the fuck out of here, Ray.
Why are you kidnapping a citizen? Why are you? Why?
Sir, give us your phone number. We'll call your family. Give us your phone number.
At least Wait, you want your family to know?
I literally have my passport. My fucking passport.
Let him get out his passport.
What's your name? What's your name? We'll find your family. Christian, what's your last name?
What?
Hey! Get back there now! Give us what's the phone number we should call? That's my mom. That's your mom? We'll call you. And your first name's Christian, right?
Find somebody willing to wipe the president's ass multiple times a day. Found her. Right there. This is the face of obsession. The kind of face it takes to wipe the president's ass and change his clothes multiple times a day because of radical incontinence of bowel and bladder. I'm a physical therapist with a doctorate in my field and 15 years experience working in home health care, treating geriatric patients with dementia, heart failure, kidney disease, and very significant incontinence. So for those of you who don't know, this is Natalie Harp, the president's closest White House aide. She began her political career as an anchor for the One America News Network, or OAN, and the qualifications for that job were objectively shameless devotion to right-wing authoritarian politics, also known as MAGA. She's also famous for writing letters to President Trump, stating things such as, "You're all that matters to me," giving enough concern to the Secret Service that she may be a threat to the president's life. He was even present during the dignified transfer because there's no limit to when the president might shit his pants. And then this very famous photo where we have military personnel in dress uniform carrying the nuclear football that is tethered to a diaper bag. Yes, friends, that is a fucking diaper bag. This contains an endless supply of Depends, probably a change of clothes, cleaning supplies, wet wipes, gloves, disposable chucks that he can lay on top of and then can be thrown away after they've been soiled. His health is in such a state that they have to tether the diaper bag to the nuclear football. What this means clinically is that he is not aware of when his bowel or bladder are emptying. It just happens without warning. This is totally different from what we call functional incontinence, where a patient is not physically able to get to a toilet soon enough before the events in question happen. This is an indication of how far his dementia has progressed. He doesn't know when he's about to shit himself. That's why they have her. And the only kind of person who would volunteer for a fucking job wiping shit and pee off of an 80-year-old man who smells awful all the time is someone who is obsessed with him. She is the equivalent of a hired home health aide. The president has commented to his own family that nobody loves him like Natalie does. And me, as somebody who's worked in elder care like I have, yeah, you got that shit right, brother. This is why I keep telling you guys it could happen any day now. A fall with a catastrophic injury, subdural hematoma, skull fracture, hip fracture, or just aspirating on food or water. Happy Tuesday. At this point, he's on 96 days of borrowed time. Who did he borrow the time from? The reflecting pool. Like it's just sitting there with no water in it and the liner flapping in the wind. From when he should have attempted to grab himself by the nussy, been impeached, or they should have finished the process of invoking the 25th Amendment. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
And I just don't think Americans are willing to do it. I think that something even more dramatic and violent than what's already happened would have to happen before Americans would even consider it. I mean, think about what's already happened. People are being murdered in the street in broad daylight. By the way, that's not new. That's not a new American phenomenon. Police have been murdering people in the streets for a long time, primarily the black community. If you're black in America, you're 3 times more likely to be killed by the police than if you're white in America. Like what just happened in Madison, Wisconsin. Murdered in the street for nothing. Just murdered, straight up fucking murder. That's America. Welcome to America. And now ICE has joined the police to just murder people in the street, and they're kidnapping people out of schools, out of workplaces, out of courthouses. Don't tell me you're worried about people doing it the legal way when you're kidnapping people. Fuck you. You're a fucking lie. If they were kidnapping or, going after the gang members and the violent thug criminals, then ICE agents would be at a much higher risk than what they are. But guess what? 0 ICE agents have died in the line of duty since this whole fucking occupation started, right? And these are, by the way, the most untrained buffoons ever. These are just people cosplaying as military law enforcement. They're completely untrained. So if they were to ever be sent after violent criminals, they would die in high numbers. They're not trained for that. They're not training them because their job is to just roll up regular everyday people who are not harming society and who are just trying to fucking survive. If ICE kidnappings and murders in the street and concentration camps is not enough to get America off their asses, if a president telling you over and over and over he's going to run for a 3rd term, if the president making billions of dollars through corruption out of the White House, if the president ignoring the Constitution, weaponizing the government, everything we've seen these motherfuckers do has been absolutely textbook authoritarianism. And if none of that was enough for you to get off your asses, I just don't think America is ready to do what has to be done. Am I wrong?
MAGA is, I think people are realizing it was all a lie. It was a big lie for the people. The big donors that donated all the money and continue to donate to the president's PACs and donate to the 250th anniversary and are donating to the big ballroom. And if they're donating to all these things, those are the people that get the special favors, they get the government contracts, they get the pardons, or somebody they love or one of their friends gets a pardon. And it's the foreign countries that are running the show here. It's the major big corporations and what is best for the world. That's really what MAGA is. That's the results. That's what we're seeing after 1 full year of MAGA.
Did you see this?
Well, again, thank you, Mr. President, for coming back to Michigan, where you've won 3 times. We very much appreciate your leadership.
That's Congressman John James. He's running for governor in Michigan. He's a Republican, and he introduced Trump today at a Michigan auto worker rally by saying he won Michigan 3 times. Now, I don't know if Trump missed that, but that is not true. That is a clear play at Donald Trump's fragile ego and obsession with the 2020 election, which he is still out talking about. It's all he cares about. He does not care about midterms. He doesn't care about losing the majority. He doesn't care about an agenda. He doesn't care about legislation. He just cares about the 2020 election, and everyone else just has to deal with it. But imagine having to beclown yourself like John James did today, having to go out and introduce the president by telling a lie meant to soothe his ego. Republicans also have to do shit like this.
Who won the 2020 election?
I'm not going to do this with you.
This is a job interview. We've established that you have an obligation to be honest and forthright with the committee. Yes, you do have an obligation to be honest and forthright with the committee?
Yes.
Who won the 2020 election?
Like I said, I'm not going to get into that.
Yeah. So they have to pretend they don't know how to answer questions. Like they have to pretend they don't know how to answer the Joe Biden question, or they don't want to answer the question, or they can't answer the question, or they're not going to play this game, which is a straightforward question. It is crazy. If you're JD Vance, you have to pretend to translate for the president when Trump says something stupid or idiotic or crazy or awful. JD Vance has to go out and be like, that's not what he meant. Here's what he meant. And then you completely lie and say something he never said because you know he meant what he actually said. I mean, It's just part of the job description now. Republican, lie. You must lie. It's crazy.
It takes a level of maturity to function in a free democratic society. A maturity that Republicans just don't have. That's why they need a big daddy to save them from the scary, complex world of others who don't know their place, supposedly. And everybody will be happy and free if we all do what they want us to do. That's why it's so irritating, to put it mildly, that they're crying freedom all the time, that this is freedom. Their freedom to treat someone with, decency and respect, that's too much. That's a bridge too far. The freedom for people, for anyone other than them, to live their authentic lives. Like, we're supposed to live his life, what he thinks our lives should be. He doesn't seem to understand that that's not freedom. That is oppression.
Do you think there might be a positive surprise out of all this? That maybe he will turn good?
No, he's an idiot. He's a total idiot. He's not my president. I will never call him the president of the United States. I will never say that. I really, more than anything, I hope the rest of the world is able to forgive us for what happened and understand that this is not who the majority of Americans think should be leading America. It was a mistake. It's a travesty, and we apologize. I'm apologizing to the United States of America, to the rest of the world, for what happened, because it's a nightmare.
It's time for the Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The Trucker John Livestream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John Livestream. It's gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well, yeah, it's the Trucker John Livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John Livestream is the best thing you've ever seen.
Good morning. Damn it, I almost finished my sandwich. I just got this much to go. I made a ham and cheese omelet. And I just stuck it between two pieces of toast here. I was trying to get it done before that intro was done. I almost made it. Anyhow, thanks for being here, guys. Hope you enjoyed the intro this morning. Covers a lot of topics. Covers a lot of the things that that we've been talking about. But anyhow, thanks for being here. It is now 10:46 a.m. in the Pacific time zone. We're sitting at a temperature of already, I think we're at 103 degrees The high is supposed to be, I think, 109. Yeah, and I think by the weekend it's supposed to be 117. So we've got that to look forward to. Good old 117. Deepity's here. Deepity says great introduction. Well, thank you. Thank you. Let me go back to the beginning. I saw Paul Burrows was in here first, followed by Brooklyn, SJU, aka Trixie LaRue. WW is in there, third in line of secession. Oh. Petrazi's here. Hey, Petrazi. Jolie. Hello, Jolie. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. There's DPD. These are the early chats. Probably before the intro even started playing. Paul Burrows, I woke up not dead again today. Thank goodness. WW says, congratulations, Paul. I got one more bite. Put up with me for one more bite. Sketchy Rhodes is here. Hey, Sketchy. Good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. Let me, there's something about getting old and your fucking eyes always watering and shit. Getting old is a bitch. James Jaramillo is here. Hey, James. Good to see you. All right. Put that over there. Who else is in this chat room? DPD is asking how the roller derby was for Jolie. Yeah, how was the roller derby? Anna Moore is here. Hey, Anna, good to see you. DPD says, I still would not have shown up for that bullshit. I'm pretty sure that is in reference to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. That's because you're woke, DPD. And I mean that in a good way. Of course, I mean that in a good way. I don't blame the journalists who were there to receive an award, get their 10 grand. I love the awards. The reason I really wanted to show that clip, that Harry Sisson is the one who put that, the original clip. I cut it down a little bit, but because all we've been seeing really are clips of Trump's speech, or whatever you call it. Whatever you call that. We really haven't seen the other stuff about what else goes on during the night, and a lot of us probably didn't even know that there was like an awards ceremony, and I thought it was really kind of cool how Wolf Blitzer just stood there and was, introducing these award winners and explaining why they won their award and what their story was about. And Trump is sitting 5 feet away, if that, well, Wolf Blitzer is saying that, yeah, this was a story about, covering up the Epstein files, or this was a story about these loyalty oaths to NSC employees and stuff like that. And or here's something about how he's mistreated people in the press and stuff. And Trump had to just sit there and take it. And I love that. I thought it was great. I thought that was great. But yeah, as far as them not showing up, what I really wish they would have done, here's what I wish they would have done. That, okay, they're there, the journalists are there, they get their awards, and then they listen to the presentations or whatever, and then the very second that Trump went to the podium to do his spiel, I wish they would have just, like, en masse, just gotten up and walked out. That would have been the move. That would have been the ultimate, if they had just all together stood up and walked out as soon as he took the podium. That would have been fantastic. And I think that if I was there, whether it was en masse or not, I think I would have gotten up at that point and just walked out. Now, the one thing I was wondering, though, like, are they being held captive? Are they, because I'm like, why aren't they leaving? This is his speech, or whatever you want to call it, was fucking horrible on so many ways and so many levels. Even in his talk there was more of him going after people. It was just horrible. And I'm like, why are they still sitting there? And I'm wondering, I think maybe they were told they can't leave. Maybe they locked them in there or something. I don't know. But I sure as hell, I think I would have got up and left. And if they said you can't leave, I would have said, fuck you, motherfucker. I'm leaving. And I would have kicked the fucking door down. Even if my old legs, my feeble old weak legs couldn't kick the door in, at least I would be, I would make a big scene. That would be the place to do it. Anyhow, Anamore says, hello, TJ and fellow loungers. Glad to see everyone. Aaron West says, hi, everyone. I'm only here for a few minutes before I have to leave for an interview. So you're probably gone already. I hope the interview is going well. And happy belated birthday to Aaron West. I don't think we were on the air on Aaron's actual birthday. I thought I heard a weird noise. So happy belated birthday to Aaron West. WW says, communist? Nobody running is a communist. His audience even knows that. I thought when Trump was saying he's a communist, I thought he was talking about the guy, maybe you couldn't hear him over Trump, but in the background, if you re-listen to that clip, that's why I even put it in twice, just in case, or I put part of it in twice. There's a guy in the crowd yelling, pedophile protector, pedophile protector. He should have said Trump is a pedophile, but I thought that was his response to the heckler. I thought he was calling the heckler the communist. That's his go-to, because that's the new word. That's the new Republican word of the day, word of the midterms, I guess, is just called everything the Democrats do communist. So when the guy was heckling him, the first thing that came to his dementia-riddled brain, it was communist, communist, he's a communist, he's a communist, that guy's a communist. He's a communist. I don't know. That's what that's what I thought was going on. I did start a goal. I created a goal. I went back down to 5. We were at 10 the other day, and we made the goal. I guess unofficially, we made the goal. I think we got 9 in before the timer ran out, and then I think we had another one come in. So I'm going to count that as making the goal. But today we're at 5. Super chat, super sticker goal. So just something to keep in mind. But remember, great ways of helping the show out is to like, subscribe, share, and hype. Those are all great ways, and they're completely free, and they do help to get the show. Look, we got 28 people watching. If it wasn't for liking, subscribing, sharing, and hyping, we might only have like 3, like the old days. Jolie, WW, or one of his personas, and maybe Kimchi, who never comes in anymore. She hates me. I think she mods for somebody. I think she mods for Brett, the guy from Randy Rhodes. But anywho, so look at there. We go from 3 to 23 because of your liking, subscribing, sharing, and hyping. So thank you very much. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, thank you very much. WW absurd, like his tattoos. I don't know. Who's that about? He doesn't. Oh yeah, you don't like Jolly. Was it Jolly? I don't know. Who knows? Who gives a fuck? I don't care who you don't like. No one likes you either, WW. So there. Is 007 Kevin Trollslayer here? Yeah, he is. There you go. There's Trollslayer 007 Kevin. Thanks for coming on in. All thanks for coming on in. William's here. Hey, William. Good to see you. Good to see you. Did you guys see my video I posted last night? I was so happy. I was so excited about my new find, my new dumpster save. I had to make a video, and there it is, right over there. My beautiful bar stool chair thingy. Maybe someday I'll have a high table, and it'll go perfectly with it. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. Let's see. Anamore says, me neither, DPD. The man is deplorable. He's killing his people with these tariffs, high gas prices, and high food prices. My MAGA friend in Pennsylvania has finally FAFO by posting anti-Trump post. Yeah, and that's kind of why I put the little MTG clip in there. Just a quick reference of I think she mentioned that some MAGA's kind of finding out. You know? Now, I do see that we had Jolie and Aaron in here at the same time, but I don't know if we currently do. So I might have to put off that thing that we do when we have when we have both. Sketchy Roads says she started a podcast, watched 1 and 2 yesterday. I don't know who we're talking about. Oh yeah, I think you're talking about the Christina. Yeah, she's got she started a new podcast, I think on Monday, right? Or yesterday. Would that be yesterday? Because today's Tuesday. Right. I don't know, but yeah, so yeah, Christina has a new podcast. Apparently. I don't know how you watch a podcast. I thought a podcast was just audio on an iPod. That's why it was called a podcast. But anyhow, we call video film these days, so whatever. We say I'm filming something, and you're really shooting digital video or something. But Charlie says, ceasefire or not, every soldier should be honored. And my God, the hypocrisy too. Just think about how disingenuous really all of that clamoring and all that blaming Joe Biden for the 13 service people that were killed during the withdrawal from Afghanistan by an ISIS. I believe it was an ISIS suicide bomber with wearing the suicide bomb vest by ISIS that Trump said that he had completely destroyed, but apparently that wasn't true. And for years, for the entire, well, even to this day, you will hear maggots and anyone associated with Trump, if it comes up or whatever, will still blame Biden for those 13 deaths and what a complete, an utter fuck up Joe Biden is, because his withdrawal from Afghanistan was so poorly done, and look at, he got these 13 service members killed. They go on and on and on and on about that. But now we're up to at least 18 fatalities in this Iran war. At least. Who knows if there's more or not, because I don't believe they're giving us all the full and complete numbers. They're hiding casualties for sure. Injuries, they're hiding the injuries, the casualties. They don't want that to come out, and they barely will talk about that. How many maggot friends do you know that are just upset about these 18 deaths, and how upset are they at Trump about it? Because I guarantee you that if a Democrat was in office, we wouldn't be hearing the end of it about what a fuck up that Democrat is for these 18 deaths. We would not be hearing the end of it. It would be a 24/7 loop. But these fatalities in Iran, we barely hear about. And we hear nothing. It's crickets on the other side. The Republicans don't talk about it at all. I'm just so sick and tired of this hypocrisy. I really, really am. Oh, I may have eaten too fast. DBD says anymore. Unfortunately, that's the only way for these individuals to wake up when the damage comes knocking on their door. The rest probably lost cause. Did I skip Anna? Oh yeah, no, I read that. Big Hook, the Big Canucks here. Hey, Big Hook, good to see you. Big Hook says abolish ICE. Oh, by the way, I should have put this up. Welcome to today's Tuesday Talk. Welcome to the Tuesday Talk with Trucker John. Live today, 10 a.m. Pacific time. 10 a.m.-ish. Thanks for being here, guys. I do appreciate you. I make all these fancy new thumbnails and nothing. Doesn't do anything. So Big Hook says abolish ICE. These corrupt MFers need to go. Zero accountability is unacceptable, and white supremacists with a federal badge is all that is. Taxes for these MFers is ridiculous. Jan 6ers rewarded. I can't disagree. I am now on the abolish ICE bandwagon, if that's what that is. I realize we need border security, we need immigration enforcement, but just to fucking abolish it, and we'll figure out a way. We'll figure out a way to keep our borders safe without just nabbing people out of the street, yanking them out of their cars, shooting them, murdering them in front of their 3-year-old daughters. We'll figure out a way to have safe borders without doing that, because we were doing that pretty much, before all this fucking Stephen Miller Gestapo bullshit. WW says, and then the right wingers will chime in, and I'll get comment. I'm sure I'm going to get comments saying, "Are you kidding me? The borders were open under Biden. Those were open borders, and there was millions and millions of people coming in." Are you kidding me? We don't want open borders. Under Democratic administrations, we have border patrol, we have immigration enforcement, we have planes that patrol the border, we have drones, surveillance drones, we have sensors that detect movement when people come across a border. We have all kinds of technology. We do not just allow people to come in. We enforce it. We just don't just do things unlawfully. WW kind of backing me up here, says U.S. Marshals enforce the laws for the U.S. Customs Service since the 1780s for a long time. Duties were our greatest federal revenue. Oh, like duties, like like when they have when people bring stuff in, like a duty. He said duty. WW, nothing is nothing. Okay, whatever. I don't even know. I don't know nothing about. DPD says, I want to know, where are the military families? When will they rise up? Well, they probably, a lot of military families are right wingers too. They're probably like, yeah, we're serving our country and we're fighting Iran and we're keeping them from having a nuclear bomb. They buy into that shit, just like all the rest of the right wingers. I'm not saying all military are right wingers, but I bet you the majority of them are. DPD, we know there's no shame in wearing Depends. That's not the fucking point that you keep missing over and over again. I'm not going to keep going over it with you. That's not the fucking point. All right? Donald Trump will stand up there and say how awful Bruce Springsteen looks, or how awful John Ossoff looks like Pinky Herman. John Ossoff looks like Pinky Herman. Looks like this guy. He'll make fun of other people's looks. He'll make fun of people's disabilities. Remember when he made fun of the guy, the one reporter who had, I don't know what he had, but some sort of disability, physical disability? Remember that? He's always commenting and putting down other people's looks and their physical abilities, or if they have handicaps or whatever. That's the fucking point. Pointing out the hypocrisy. I feel like we're beating a dead horse here, WW. We're beating a dead fucking horse. I'd rather beat a live horse at this point, because it would be a new horse. That's the analogy. You get tired of the old dead horse. You want a nice new live horse to beat. And the horses they're metaphors for subject matter, for subjects. I have to explain metaphors to a teacher, apparently. Anyhow, Big Hook says this Asian officer is a disgrace. I think that's in reference to the intro about the ICE, those ICE officers, I think. So he says this Asian officer is a disgrace. Immigrant rounding up immigrants. Well, you don't know if he's an immigrant, but they don't know if he's an immigrant either. So touche. Oh yeah, you're going to hell, and people will piss on your grave. All of you ICE assholes. If only someone wrote a song about pissing on evil people's graves. If only there was a person who would write that song. Boy, wouldn't that be something? You would think that'd be a song that would probably go viral and millions of people would listen to it. You'd think, wouldn't you? Ah, you'd be wrong. Federal agents, this is from WW. Federal agents, guards, and even computer security officers are pulled to go out on ICE raids. They are often not there voluntarily. Well, I know everyone needs a job. Everyone needs a job. Everyone needs income. So I get not wanting to lose your job. But this might be one exception where you just say, fuck it, I'm not doing that shit. If you're not trained for it, like, for one thing, let alone the moral aspects of it. But that might be one of the times where you just say, fuck that shit. And I'll take my chances in court when I sue you for wrongful termination, because I wouldn't participate in a job that I was not even remotely trained for. This should require lots of training, and these guys obviously aren't having. We've seen the reports about the poor training that they have. DBD says Jolly Ginger is fucking spot on with his observations. Why haven't we all descended upon Washington, D.C., straight down to 1600 Pennsylvania Pedophile Avenue? Because I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, DPD, and I've said this before. It's because the masses are asses, meaning they don't know. They don't know. You and I know it, and people in this chat know it. We all know it. You know it. I know it. We all know it. Because we watch this shit. We pay attention to this shit every single day. We watch and pay attention and all that kind of stuff. But the overwhelming majority of the people don't. They barely even know about Renee Good or Alex Preddy. They barely even know. I bet you most of the people haven't even heard that story. And those that have, a lot of people, they just got some quick little blurb of a story, a little snippet of a story that just said, ICE officers shot a man today in protests in Minneapolis for ICE protests in Minneapolis. And that's about all. Some of these news will just cover it like that, and that's all they're getting. People don't know. I mean, you don't. You gotta realize we are the exception. Those of us that watch both right and well, I don't know. It seems like the righties they get so much more coverage, but the overwhelming majority of people don't pay attention to what's going on. They barely even know what's going on. Barely even know. They don't know the controversies because they're like, "What's wrong with Trump?" And you might think, "Are you kidding me?" But they don't fucking know. They don't know about Epstein Files. They probably heard the term Epstein Files. That might be the extent of their knowledge of the Epstein Files. It's just the fucking term Epstein Files. That's the extent of their knowledge. And then some of them might know a little bit more. They might know. I'm just looking over and making sure I turned that pan off. Pretty sure I did. They might know it has something to do with sex trafficking or sex with a minor, and they think they might just think, well, that Epstein guy was really bad. I'm glad he's dead. That might be the more knowledgeable ones. So why, to answer you and Jolly Ginger, and you, your question about this, it's because people don't know. Maybe it's willful. Maybe it's not willful. I don't know. A little bit of both. But people don't pay attention to this shit. They don't. The overwhelming majority of people do not pay attention to this shit. They just don't. Even data centers, I bet you if you were to take a poll of, maybe there's probably polling on it, but most people would go, what's the big deal about data centers? Or they might just know data centers are bad because people don't like them. Or just be totally like, what's a data center? I mean, people don't know. That's why if the majority of the people knew the stuff that you and I know, then we would be having probably people in the streets marching down 1600 Pennsylvania Pedophile Avenue. Big Hook says immigrants are the lifeblood of America. They built America and feed America. Immigrants largely look after elderly, infirm population. Immigrants are the best of America and who truly deserve and truly deserve to be here. Yeah. I was taught as a kid in school and other places that America was the great melting pot. I went to elementary school in the 60s. I remember hearing the term America being the great melting pot in the 60s. We used to celebrate that. You know, that was a good thing. And now I'm really ashamed that many of my fellow, 60s grade school schoolmates have completely forgotten that or turned it around to say that we don't want immigrants. Immigrants bad. Nick Rich is here. Hey, Nick, good to see you. Nick reminding everyone to hit that like button. That's right. We're acting like pretty good Democrats right now. We got 31 watching, 30 thumbs up. So a slight deficit, very slight, but let's not get into this skeezy Republican mode. So make sure you hit that thumbs up button. At least get us to a balanced budget. That would be nice. Brooklyn says she's at dance class. All right. Shake it. Shake it. WW, they already knew that they had the votes. The hearing was just for showboating. Who was doing the showboating? Was it the Republicans? Because aren't the Republicans in the majority? And I believe it's the Republicans that set up and scheduled all the hearings. If you're in the majority, so I guess you're saying the Republicans were showboating. I guess that's what I'm going to go with. Big Hook says the fourth estate is failing. Or no, it's falling. Wait, I think he meant failing to do its duty because of billionaires' ownership. Tax the shit out of the billionaires and give the people universal health care like the rest of the civilized world. I know. I think we're going to get. I think we are going to get. We're going to get there to universal health care. It's just taking a lot longer than a lot of us would like. I mean, we should have had this a long time ago. After the Medicare Act was signed into law under the Johnson administration in the mid-'60s, the plan was to lower the eligibility age by 5 years every 5 years until it was basically Medicare for all. That was the plan. And unfortunately, it didn't go as planned. I think Johnson, I mean, we had Democratic majorities, I think, in Congress for decades at that point. I don't think they really saw this, the Democrats losing power. And he probably felt pretty confident that even though he wasn't going to run for another term, that the Democrats were going to be in the White House also. Unfortunately, the assassin's bullet took out RFK Sr. And so that pretty much killed that whole plan of lowering the eligibility age. And then we had Carter later, in 76. He only got one term. Again, Republican shenanigans, with the Iran-Contra and everything, that got Reagan elected because they made Carter look bad with the hostage situation. That was really a big factor. So Carter wasn't able to do things, and so on and so forth. So time goes by. It wasn't until Obama, when he was elected in 2008, took office in 2009, was it 2010 they were able to get the Affordable Care Act passed? I mean, that was the first really major thing of healthcare that we got, even though it's not national healthcare, it's not universal, single payer. And we didn't get the public option that Obama wanted, but couldn't get it because of Joe Lieberman. And the inability to get two votes to come over and counter his one vote, you know what I mean? His one nay vote there. But yeah, I would like to see national health care, universal single payer, all that kind of stuff. I think we're going to get there eventually. It's just taking longer because of Republicans setting us back. Every time they get into office, Every time they get into power, they move us backwards. We saw backward movement already with overturning Roe v. Wade. We hear them talking about wanting to basically repeal the 19th Amendment, whatever the one is for women's right to vote. They want to take us backwards. They always want to take us backwards. They always want to take us back to the good old antebellum South, the good old days of the antebellum South before that pesky Civil War, that war of aggression, the war of northern aggression, took away their rights to own people. That's what they want to take us back to. And they keep taking us back every time they're in power. Anytime we make any strides in green renewable energy, trying to get off of fossil fuels, we make some steps in the right direction under Clinton, under Obama, under Biden, but then Bush and Trump get in there, and then just take us back further back the other way. So it's a real slow tug of war, back and forth bullshit. And I wish that more people would wake up. I wish we had more woke people. We need to be woke. That's why they demonize being aware, having awareness about issues, and so they call it woke, and they make woke a derogatory term. The reason they do that, the right wingers, the reason they do that is because they know that when people are awake, they will march down 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. They will be upset. They will demand that these things stop, these injustices stop. And they will vote, and they will vote them out, being the Republicans out. That's how they win. They win by keeping people stupid, by keeping people ignorant. That's how they win. How we win is by getting large turnouts, large voter turnouts. That's how we win. And how do we do that? It's by increasing awareness. It is about getting more woke people. Being aware, knowing what's going on, knowing what's going on politically and socially in this country, that is the enemy to the Republicans. I mean, my God, people were saying, leave Lindsey Graham alone, after his death. He was he has a wife and kids. By the way, Lindsey Graham was never married, never had any kids, because he was gay. Do you mean to tell me that these voters in his state never had an idea or an inkling that the man was gay? Did they just tell themselves that he must surely be married? He must surely have children. And that's as far as they took it? That's as far as their curiosity took them? They never bothered to look something up? We've had internet and Google for fucking at least 2 decades now, 2 or 3 decades. They never thought, hey, I'm going to look it up. There's something about this guy. Anna Moore says we're headed towards a civil war. I think I've been hearing that since at least the first Trump administration. Look, we don't need a civil war. What we need is for people to show up and vote. That's what we need. WW, money is imaginary, Billy Cook. Millionaire money is not keeping you poor. You know what's keeping people poor is not being able to afford health care, not being able to withstand a major illness that will force them to go bankrupt. And why is that? It's because of multi-billion-dollar health insurance companies that make multi-billions of dollars every year, probably $1 trillion industry by now. It's because these millionaires and billionaires all have stock in those companies, and they don't want those companies to go away. So yeah, the millionaire money is keeping people poor, and with the inability to have their health issues taken care of adequately. That's just one example. Nick Rich with the timestamp 10:45 in Las Vegas. It's that's what it was 10:45. What are we? Dang, how many? I'm way behind. I am so far behind. I'm like 45 minutes behind or more. 48 minutes. I think I'm 48 minutes behind. How did I get 48 minutes behind? How did that happen? I don't know. I do not know. All right, I got another meme for you. I know a lot of us like to hate on this guy, this next guy I'm going to put up. So I did this for you guys because I know, like I said, we like to hate on this guy. We don't like this guy. We think this guy is a real jerk, a real dope. Some might even call him an ogre. Yeah, this guy here. This guy. Oh my God, please, please, please operate. Please cooperate. There we go. This is the guy who called Mayor Mondani a clown. Look at him with his shorts and t-shirt and his like tux shirt, t-shirt with a hoodie. Looks like a big doofus. Looks like a big doofus. He's what we would call a doofus. Hey, doofus. Do your job, doofus. Stop licking Trump's taint. There. I hope that was enough for you guys. Okay, I'm going to have to skip down a little bit because I'm 45 minutes behind. I am really behind. I'm just not getting to the very end of the intro in the chat. So we can skip down all the things about the temperature and all that. Hey, there's David Weiss from Denver. Says, I keep grabbing Wendy's eggs. Poor Wendy. No. With eggs and cheese biscuit sandwich with potatoes and a drink at $3.55. That's a good price. That's affordable, isn't it? Because I'm lazy. It's not close enough to walk to, but my little beater Civic does the job. Sketchy Road says Von Schützenpants had the same stupid look on his face when Obama roasted him. Jolie says roller derby was brutal. It was Naptown versus the world. The world team was the Indianapolis men's team mixed with people from other teams. They lost big, which of course they did, but they had fun. Well, that's the main thing. And DPD says, Jolie, having fun is the most important thing. Yeah, Petrozzi says he was calling the heckler communist, and he started speaking louder. Yeah, that's what I thought. So here I am just now finally getting to David Weiss $2 super chat. Yippee, David Weiss. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you. I'll give you a thumbs up and a heart. David Weiss says, yo. Thank you, David Weiss. I appreciate you. Let's go. Nigger, it's 11 a.m., so now I'm 38 minutes behind. I've skipped down a little bit to make up some time. MJ Daniel from up in Washington State says that MAGA and Republicans are in the FO phase. That's the find out phase of the FAFO. But what will they do about it? They just need to stay home, not vote, and leave Democrats to fix things. DPD says Representative Max Miller for the 7th District of Northeast Ohio was accused of beating his wife, throwing hot water on her, and breaking their 2-year-old daughter's collarbone. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Lock him up. He needs to be in fucking prison. Lock his fucking sadistic, abusive ass up. That is horrible. Come on, Ohio. Lock him up. DPD says, I do believe those 13 deaths in Afghanistan were due to orange pedophile when the motherfuckers signed the Doha Accord. He let 5,000 Taliban fighters out of prison. Trump did. And then he has the nerve to blame Biden for anything. It's just absurd. And MAGA was just swallowing it whole. Josh Sees is here. Always good to see Josh Sees in the old driver's lounge. Josh Sees says he's been lurking and doing chores. Do them chores, Josh. Don't be lazy. Christina Weibel says ICE is a fake. Abolish it. But again, ICE is not going to get abolished under a Trump administration, even if we do take back the House and the Senate. The best we could do is starve it to death by not giving it any more money. We could do that, but it'll still be there. It won't be abolished until we have the White House and the House and the Senate. And then even then, I don't even know. But we certainly could at least reform it. I think if we do, let's say we get the White House back, House and Senate, the whole thing, and let's say there's some big long law that prevents us from eliminating it outright, then we should at least rename it, and we should at least run it, in a humane way that actually adheres to court orders and things, and not just runs roughshod over everything. Nick Rich says 98 days until the midterms. Vote blue. I think there's a blue heart there. So yes, absolutely, Nick Rich. I agree. Vote, vote, vote. Check your registration. Make sure you're good to go. Make sure you're good to go on vote day, on voter day. MJ Daniels says something like $1 billion of border security tech was paid for by Mexico when Biden was president. Well, isn't that nice? Skipping down a bit here. Sketchy Road says military brass not willing to stand down. Effing cowards. Well, again, I don't know if it's cowardice or it's just sharing the same values or the same views in many cases. I think there's a lot of right wingers in the military, for one thing. Nick Rich says Trump always looks like shit, worse every day, actually. Okay, so let's get rid of this clown. We'll go to another clown. Look at this. Look at this. I'm pretty sure this is legit. It shows on the left the actual image of Trump, and then on the right the smoothing over, the filtering, whatever they did, the photoshopping, the airbrushing, whatever they did to try to make Trump look better. According to this post, it says that who was it that posted that? Da, 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 da. Roy, wait. Okay, let me just read it. Turns out the White House has been stealing Reuters photos and running Trump through a flattering funhouse mirror filter before reissuing them as official. They smoothed him, slimmed him, and buffed him into a version of himself that does not quite exist, then stripped the credit and hoped nobody would find the original. This is the most powerful office on earth, photoshopping its own boss thinner. If you think a president should be able to handle his own actual photograph, you are my kind of people. So the left is the actual Trump, the right is the White House doctoring that photo there. DBD says, TJ, do you hear how twisted that sounds, that they are willing to sacrifice their own children to feed their hatred? I don't even know what that's in reference to. Did I say anything like that? I don't know what that's in reference to. Anyhow, I got to go get another bottle of water. I'm very thirsty. Talking, folks, when you just talk, can get you thirsty. I already went through one bottle of water. Now I'm going to get another. Ugh. Yeah, I don't know what that was about. Sacrifice their own children. I don't even know what that was about. WW, the reason we bring up Trump's incontinence, I already said this once. I know there's a 45-minute lag here, so, I don't know. But we bring this up because he tries to present himself as being the picture of health, a physical specimen, if you will. And he cuts down and criticizes everyone around him, friend or foe. He will cut them down and make fun of their weight, make fun of their looks, make fun of them if they have a physical handicap, or anything like that. That's why we bring it up. That and the fact that the man is in really poor health, and they're trying to make it seem as though he's in perfect health when he really isn't. And again, like I said before in past shows, I believe we have the right to know if our president is able to really carry out his duties effectively. And when he sits there and falls asleep at just every single event, even this White House Correspondents' Dinner, he was dozing off. He just doesn't seem to be someone who is really fit to be the president of the United States. That's a job that's not for the faint of heart. It's not. Skipping down a little bit here, trying to get caught up in the chat. Animal says, "How come you don't play your pissing in the grave song on your outro?" I do. I have not changed the outro since I put that in there. It's in there. It's right where it's always been for the last couple months there, whatever, It's there. WW large disapproval ratings in the polls. The people know more than you seem to believe. That's true. I mean, that's a good point. His approval ratings They're actually approval ratings. They're not disapproval ratings. They're approval ratings. Are in the shitter. That's true, WW. You got me there. But what did it take to get there? To finally see those numbers really dipping? I think it was gas prices and shit like that. Gas prices, high gas prices people will always blame the president, no matter how much or how little the president actually might have to do with gas prices. The president will always take the blame for that. So when things finally are, that's really not watching the news. That's not really being aware of the things I was talking about. But when things directly happen to them, like high gas prices and high inflation, things that they can't really avoid seeing. You can shut off the news and you can just play video games and not know anything about Renee Good or Alex Preddy, not know anything about all these ICE detention camps, not know anything about even the Iran War, or just very little about. You might know that we're bombing Iran, but you don't know anything more than that. You can get through life with that, but most people they're going to see high gas prices. They're going to see groceries going up every time they go to the supermarket. It keeps going up and up and up. So that's why I believe that we're finally dipping into his base support. And it's not because they're all of a sudden reading news articles and spending some time on it. It's just because they see the prices. They know who the president is, so they're going to blame the president. And I think in this case, deservedly so, justifiably so. DPD says, and yet our survival hinges on these people. In November, under those circumstances, I would say we are all fucked. Well, the thing is, though, the people that vote aren't, when I'm talking about the overwhelming majority of people don't know shit, I'm talking about everyone, the non-voters and the voters. But the people who actually vote, that's a subset. Okay, that's a subset group between voters and non-voters. And then you would combine those together. That's the whole. I'm saying, so when I'm saying the overwhelming majority of people, I'm talking about voters, non-voters, everybody. Eligible voters, ineligible voters, I'm talking about everybody when I say that. But the thing about voting is that's a subset. That's a whole different group of people. Those are people that at least are aware enough and responsible enough to take the time to register to vote, so to be eligible to vote. So that's like a whole different subset of people. And those people are a little more aware. Now, maybe not much more as a whole, but they are more aware, or at least aware enough to register and to register with a party and know when voting day is. They're at least that much aware. So so I think the group of voters is a little more aware than just the group as a whole. And by group, I mean the population of America. I think we are going to have a high turnout in November. And high turnouts favor Democrats. Billy Kid 73 is here. Hey, Billy Kid, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. I haven't seen you in a while. Billy Kid says, they blame Dems for everything. I'm tired of the Dems not fighting back. Okay, so what is this fighting back? I've been hearing, we need to fight back. We need to fight back. Or we need to fight. We need fighters. We need fighters. What the fuck are fighters when you're talking about politics? Or you're talking about whatever it is we're talking about? I keep saying we need fighters, or we need to fight back. How do we fight back? The way we fight back is by voting. We need to vote. We don't need to be violent. We don't need to, I think Jolly Ginger guy, I think he's intimating violence. I don't think we need violence. I don't think we're there. I think we're far, far, far from there. We don't need violence. We don't need to storm the Capitol like the Jan 6ers did. We don't need to bust in the doors and go rub our shit on the walls like the Jan 6ers did. Is that fighting? Is that fighting back? We need to fucking vote. That's what we need to do. Fucking vote. WW says, when I was a kid, we learned about melting pot, but most kids in class were white. I grew up, most of my elementary school days, it's kind of weird. We moved back and forth between Victorville and Apple Valley. Victorville was pretty diverse. We had there was a good amount of Mexican kids, black kids, white kids, even kids with chicken pox. And then we moved to Apple Valley, and Apple Valley is like almost all white. Almost no black kids at all. I mean, you could count the number of black kids on one hand. And then there was, some Mexicans, or we just called them Mexicans in those days, by the way, guys. I know I sound like a racist. But Latinos, Latins, Hispanic, whatever. We had, brown-skinned people, but majority, certainly overwhelming majority white. And it was kind of a contrast. I mean, we kept moving back and forth between these two places. So I think I got a pretty good, I mean, it wasn't like living in the inner city or something, but I wasn't sheltered from, just living in this white bubble. I was able to go to schools that, especially when we lived in Victorville, that had I wouldn't say it was even, still, whites were the majority, but we still had a pretty good percentage of Hispanic kids and black kids. And so I'm glad for that. I'm glad that we moved to Victorville and didn't just live in Apple Valley the whole time, because where it was almost all white, But I remember learning about melting pot and being in a classroom in Victorville in, second, third, fourth grade, and having lots of black schoolmates and Hispanic schoolmates. Skipping down here a little bit, guys. I know I'm really, really behind. MJ Daniel says, fascist GOP has taken over the media and education since Reagan because they know if you control information, you can control the populace and keep them complacent with bread and circus. I'm sure that's a reference to the Roman Colosseum. WW, I have nothing to do with these fucking commercials, all right? I got nothing to do with these fucking commercials. Nick Rich says the most prosperous country on earth should have the best healthcare services possible, but it costs tax dollars to make it happen. Big Pharma doesn't want to share their profits. Yep. I agree with that. We should have the best healthcare services on the earth. And it's all about greed. Because we would have to tax more, and I think we should tax the fuck out of these fucking billionaires and shit. Let's see. Do I have any other memes before you guys get too sick seeing that one? Well, we can just bash on Trump a little more. He's not a president. He's an enemy of the state. There's that one. You guys like that one? He really is the enemy of the state, Trump. He doesn't really love America. He hates the Constitution. He hates democracy. He wants to call people communists. He would probably love nothing more than to be the leader of a communist country. He would love this country to be communist and for him to be the leader. I suppose communism's not so bad if you're the fucking leader. I don't know. Oh, Jorgen Johansson's here. Where's Jorgen? Did I pass up Jorgen? Jorgen Johansson says 30% is supporting your clown president, the biggest scam since Jesus and Madoff. That's quite a pairing there. Doesn't sound so much, but when only 54% is voting, as last election, it's a lot. You got what you earned. You're right. People didn't show up. You're absolutely right. People didn't show up to vote. We ended up with this clown. And you're 100% right. That's why I say larger turnouts are good for Democrats. Lower turnouts are better for Republicans. And we saw what happened in 2024. With a lower turnout, we ended up with this fucking asshat. WW says the medical community in general is satisfied with the system. We have a guy who owns a hospital in Rockford, makes millions a year. Well, the medical community, they probably don't have to worry about their own health care. They have good plans. There are millions and millions of people that are either uninsured or underinsured. Hey, Catherine Doobie-Doo is here. Says, hi, everyone. TJ, been a long time. I changed my handle. Yeah, you did, Doobie-Doo. Catherine Doobie-Doo. Doobie-Doobie-Doo. Do-do-do-do-do. Oh, doobie-doobie. Thank you, Catherine Doobie-Doo, for being here, by the way. Appreciate you. Appreciate you for coming on in. MJ Daniel says, I probably would not be able to go to the doctor at all without the ACA here in Washington. Christina Weibel says, I've been talking to my neighbors in Florida trying to get out the vote. Primary coming next month. That's great. That's great, Christina. Good for you. Good for you, Christina. People, be more like Christina. Try to get out the vote. Hey, Mr. Spock is here. Live long and prosper. I'm doing it perfectly. Mr. Spock says, just got back from an adventure. Had to get beer, so I used the decoy gas can to get rides quickly. I wouldn't have bothered, but it's my birthday. Got to have beer. Well, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Mr. Spock. Happy birthday, Mr. Spock. Happy birthday to good old Mr. Spock. Happy birthday to you and many more. There you go. Little birthday for Mr. Spock. WW says Elon had an actual $1 trillion for a week or two. It just disappeared. Actually, I don't think he actually had it ever. I think it was all imaginary. I mean, it was all on paper. Most of it. It's all on paper. It's all, you know. It was all speculation about the value of the companies and everything. So I don't think he ever really was a trillionaire. All right, I'm skipping on down. And right now we've got 15 minutes, 42 seconds to make the goal. Today was only 5. Thought we could make the goal. David Weiss from River says, I started SS payments at 62 to get Medicare started. Glad I did. Been with Kaiser for 8 years. I had Kaiser when I was a few times. I had it when I was a postal worker, and I had it when I was with Schneider. Here's a Nick Rich $2 super chat. Yippee! Thank you, Nick Rich. I'm just not getting to it. Thank you so much for that, Nick. There's a thumbs up and a heart. And Nick Rich says, happy birthday, Mr. Spock. Absolutely. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Aaron West says that she is back. She is back in the saddle again. Animal, you're way behind. Yeah, unless you guys would rather that I just not read the chat. I could just not read the chat, and then I would never be behind. It's up to you guys. Let me know in the chat. Do you want me to read chats or not? Because that's the only way of not being behind. It's up to you guys, though. You guys are in charge. DBD says there's a recall on Kroger eggs. I don't know what TOI means. Totally. I don't know. Totally. Skip it down and needle dropping. DPD says Friday I will be able to work off some of my rage. My husband signed me up for a rage room. Wow. Yeah, go work it off. Yeah. Big Hook says medical bankruptcy causes homelessness, W or West or whatever the fuck you are. Yeah. AJ Daniel says he also pardoned over 1,000 American Taliban, Jan 6 terrorists. Well, have you noticed? Have you noticed that everyone he pardons, they are people that are not deserving of pardons. They're all criminals just like him. They're all fraudsters, or they're pedophiles, or they're insurrectionists. They're criminals. The people that Trump pardons are just out and out criminals. When other presidents, usually when you see them pardon someone, it's someone who maybe got busted for pot, usually a black guy who got 30 years or something, or some crazy thing for having a joint, you know, while all the white people they don't even get tickets for that shit. So, you know, that's what you see from other presidents. They'll commute someone's sentence, or they'll pardon someone who really deserves to be pardoned because their sentence was just way too long, way too severe for what they did. There's usually some sort of injustice associated with it, you know, and so they're just trying to kind of right that. But Trump, it's all his fellow like-minded insurrectionists and criminals and really shady fucking people that he pardons, because that's what he relates to, I guess. You know? You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? Big Hook says W is a drug addict, a way of medicating mental illness, which used to be probably treated and paid for before Reagan dismantled decency and caring for your community. W is drug addiction a way? Oh, was that a question? I don't know. I shouldn't have even read that. It's poorly written. Nick Rich says the bloated, bamboozling loser from Magalardo has frontal temporal dementia, and it doesn't improve with age, folks. Yep, we had Doc Adams in the intro. I've had him a few times. Doc Adams is the guy who talks about that stuff. So Wes thinks that's a fake. Wes thinks that this photo on the left is a fake, but is the one on the right just completely true? Is that completely true? What about let's see. What about this one? Is that fake or true? Wes, how's that? Is that one a fake one? Let's see here. What about that one? Is that a fake one? You think that's fake? Let's see. Is this fake? How about that one? Is that a fake one? Him sleeping in the Oval Office while they're holding an event there? And his face is all jacked up to the side like this. He's like, yeah, he's doing Bill Murray from Caddyshack. That's all that was. That wasn't him sleeping and looking really old. That was him doing his Bill Murray impression. That's what that was right there. He said, yeah, he's got that going. He got that going for himself. You know, he says, he said, I wish I could remember what he said. If I could remember what he said, and this would be a really funny bit right now. If I could remember the Bill Murray speech from Caddyshack right now, this would be the most funniest thing you've ever seen. But I really can't remember it. About the Dalai Lama? Something about the Dalai Lama. You know, Trump, you know it, right? Trump, you know the Dalai Lama speech from Caddyshack? You know it, right? Right, Trump? It says, well, I don't remember what he said, but it was very profound. And, so I got that going for me. That's what Trump was doing, apparently. Because you notice, even I closed my eyes when I did that. So it kind of looks like I'm sleeping, but I'm not sleeping. I'm doing my Bill Murray impression from Caddyshack. And as you know, Donald Trump is a huge Caddyshack fan. That's all that is. That's all that is right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is not the president sleeping. That's the president doing his Bill Murray impression. That's what that is right there. Very good one, I might add. Very good. Bravo, Mr. President. Bravo. And scene. So I guess that's what that was. That's just Trump doing his Bill Murray impression from Caddyshack. Thanks for clearing that up, WW. Smoke is here. Howdy, Ben terrorist. Wait, Ben. Howdy, Ben terrorist at Graham's funeral right now. Well, I guess I'll send my condolences. Someone died. I have no idea if you're being serious or not serious, but nevertheless, my condolences to whomever died, or to the families and friends. MJ Daniel says a cousin that lives in the Yakima area was a major in the Air Force, flew B-52 during the Cold War, is fully evangelical, and did not even invite his gay daughter to his second marriage. Loving father. What a loving father. Whatever happened to unconditional love? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? Whatever happened to unconditional love? Crying out loud. Let me skip down. I know you guys, you don't like me being behind, but you want me to read your chats. So I'm gonna have to skip some though. WW is claiming that Trump's numbers have come up relatively close to Biden's at the same time in his term. Big Cook says 11:53 TJ time reference. Yeah, so I'm a half an hour. I'm over half an hour behind still. The FAFO is here and getting worse. Tariffs, expensive gas, food, electricity, and all essentials necessary to live. Let's see. Goal ends in 2 minutes and 23 seconds. You got 2 minutes 21 seconds to make the goal. I don't know. I don't think we're gonna make it today, guys. I don't think we're gonna make it today. Aaron West says, my friend is missing in Grenada. She went for a swim alone last Wednesday and didn't come back. I'm very worried. Oh my gosh. That's so scary, Aaron. I hope she's okay. Hope she turns up, alive. Wow. Aaron says they've had divers looking and nothing so far. Yeah. That's awful, Aaron. DPD says, speaking the truth, TJ, is what I consider fighting. Stop laying down and taking the shit and pretending it's business as usual. That's what we do here on the Trucker John Show. We, Squirrel Girl with a $5 super chat. Yippee! Thank you, Squirrel Girl. I do see that. That came in there. Let me give you a proper thank you so much, Squirrel Girl, for that. So, 44 seconds to get two more. I don't know if we can make it or not. But thank you, Squirrel Girl. I appreciate you. Jolie reminding everyone we have channel memberships, yes, starting for as low as a price of a snickerdoodle. There's Petrazi, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you. We got 24 seconds to get, I guess, one more. 19 seconds. I don't know if we're going to make it. I'm so excited. This is exciting. I don't know. We got 18 seconds. Let's see if we can make another one. 10, 9, maybe not. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And wait a minute. At the buzzer, you got to be kidding me. Petrazi, $2. Yippee. Thank you so much, Petrazi. We made the goal. Modest goal. 5 super chat, super stickers. Thank you guys so much. Thank you there. We're just celebrating. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. You look at that celebrate. Oh, hey, look at there. I wasn't planning on coming in so soon, but hey, congratulations to all you trucklers out there. Thank you so much. I was just on my way to the can, and all of a sudden I'm in front of the camera. But yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for that, making that goal. Appreciate it. Now, we can afford some bananas or something in the house here. Thank you, guys. Oh. Bit of a delay there. Thank you guys so much. We made the goal. So yippee! Yippee! Oh, hit that subscribe button also, if you haven't already. But yeah, we got channel memberships. You can like, subscribe, and share, and hype the show. Those are free. We got Buy Me a Coffee. There's the link. We got PayPal. Got all kinds of ways to support this show, which is, supporting me. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. You guys are awesome. You guys are just awesome. Petrazi says, my elementary school in Covina, California was mostly white and Hispanic, but junior high in Colton, California was big time diverse. Lots of ethnic groups. By the time I went to high school in Kentucky, it was back to Whiteville. I remember playing Colton High School in football, I believe, one time. This one time. Oh, there's the car fund. I'm still trying to get a car. We got the car fund also. GoFundMe. There's the link. Thank you, Jolie, for putting that up. If you guys are so inclined to put a couple bucks in there, that'd be great. Nick Rich, the only president to have a mug shot. I might have that mug shot. I wonder if it's in my deal. I don't know. But I've been told big leg woman ain't got no soul. I don't know. Anyhow, there's that. Let's see. Did I have any other memes? Memes of the day? Well, okay. We really haven't touched too much on Epstein stuff. This one, I like this one with Ted Lieu, because Ted Lieu is one of those Congress people who is not backing down. He's not letting go of the Epstein files, nor should he, or nor should anyone. Here's a little meme about Mike Johnson and Ted Lieu. Mike Johnson says, okay, so I guess this is saying that Mike Johnson is saying that he is more confident with each passing day that the GOP will keep control of Congress, calls it a God thing. So Mike Johnson thinks that God is on their side, apparently. That to keep the pedophiles, the pedophile protectors in power. I guess he thinks God's on their side, I guess. Ted Lieu says, I just talked to God. And God says Democrats will flip the House. God really doesn't like the largest Medicaid cuts in American history. And he can't wait for the world to see all the Epstein files. So that's funny. I mean, it's good. It's true. I mean, I agree with Ted. But it's funny how Ted's like, no, I talked to God. He didn't say anything about that. He said he can't wait to put Democrats back in power so they can release all the Epstein files. Ted Lieu, you are awesome. Keep at it, my friend. Let's not let them sweep the Epstein stuff under the rug with all this stupid Iran war and all the other distractions and ICE and all that shit. I'm not saying we should ignore ICE and what they're doing. We shouldn't ignore those things, but the reason they're doing those things and making those front page news items is to keep Epstein off the front page. And so I salute people like Ted Lieu who are constantly keeping the Epstein files out there. Ted Lieu and was it Katie Fang and all of them. Kudos to that. We need to keep the Epstein files really on front page. Don't let them get away with making it a non-story, because it's not. It's a huge story where all the way up to the president of the United States are deeply involved in this shit. And they need to be exposed. They need to be removed from office, from power. They need to be placed in prisons. DPD, I have to bounce for a bit. I have a televisit with my therapist. You know how to work on my rage. Well, this is probably 30 minutes ago that you wrote that, but nevertheless, I just want to say thank you, DPD, for being here. You're a valued member of our driver's lounge, and I hope everything goes well with your therapy there. I'm sure it will. All right, I'm skipping down. I know I'm really behind. Smoke says, why do I have $200 on visits if I am disabled? $900 not enough on SSI. Yeah, we need more. We need to tax the rich more, and we need to give that money back. We need to redistribute money from the top class down into the lower classes. I don't know how else to put it. Brooklyn, I'm getting ads during this live show. I have nothing to do with that. If you don't have like a YouTube Premium, then you're going to get ads, I guess. But that's YouTube that puts those ads in. I don't put these ads in. All right. Jolie says we are at. Here's what Jolie says. Now this I'm hesitant to do this because I don't know if people leave, people go. I'm 30, 40 minutes behind, so I never know exactly. But I'm going to say that I know that at least in certain portions of this live stream, if not even currently, probably currently, that we are, you guys know it, I know it, everyone knows it, you know what's going, you know what's coming. When we have Jolie and Aaron in here, we are at full mod capacity. Full mod capacity. We're at full mod capacity, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Jolie, for being here. I appreciate you. That's my little ode. That's my little ode to Jolie and Aaron. That's my way of saying thank you guys so much for being here and helping me with this motley crew, with this rowdy bunch we have in the driver's lounge here. I wouldn't be able to handle them without you. Nick Rich, read chats and respond, but consider how long you deal with the answer. Even if I had the shortest responses, I was just by virtue of the fact that I am reading the chats is going to put me behind, no matter what. Petrozzi, by the time you get to our messages, we've moved on from the topic. Like I said, I could just ignore it, ignore all this. I could just go right to the very bottom and just read the most current one. You know? Petrozzi, member for 6 months. Happy truck anniversary, Petrozzi. I appreciate you. Thank you for being a member for 6 months. Thank you for helping us meet the goal. I appreciate that. But I do skip down. Billy Kid 73 says, TJ, I'm speaking of dim politicians fighting back, open their fucking mouths, hit back where it counts. Example, enough of this calling for McConnell to show proof. Fuck that. Call a special election. The state of Kentucky I think they have different rules. Each state does things differently. I don't think they hold special elections in a case like this. The governor will appoint someone to take his seat. But that's not clear either, because they passed a law saying that the governor can only appoint state seats and the Senate is a federal seat. So there's confusion on that. It's not, my point is that it's not a clear-cut thing. I don't think it's as clear-cut as we think it is. Otherwise, I think Beshears would have done it. I think he's trying to get down to the bottom of exactly what he can do with this law that they passed in Kentucky. I didn't say that. I think they're both AI. Just say AI. Why do you guys say AI? Why do you spell out? Why do you take all that time spelling out AYAYED when you could just put A and an I? I don't get it. Brooklyn, SJU, aka Trixie LaRue, member for 14 months. Happy truck anniversary. Full mod capacity. Thank you, Brooklyn. Over a year now, Brooklyn's been a member. Thank you so much. I appreciate all that support, supporting the show, and being a member, being a vital member of this community. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Oh, is today Lindsey Graham's funeral? Spoke says Bin Yad. Are you trying to say Netanyahu? Oh, you're starting to say Netanyahu. I can't say his name. One terrorist at Graham's funeral today kissed leader ass is laughing out loud. I didn't even know it was Graham's funeral today, and I don't even care. I say good riddance. The world's a better place. Is better off without that motherfucker. So that's all I got to say about that. Just now coming to some of these super chats. So whenever I do that, you guys always get a bonus yippee. Here's the Squirrel Girl $5 super chat. Yippee! Thank you so much. There's a thumbs up. There's a heart. Squirrel Girl says, Lurker's fee, keep reading chats, makes us feel listened to. Hi, TJ and Trucklers. Here's the Petrazi super chat. Here's your bonus yippee. Yippee, Petrazi. Thank you so much. There's your thumbs up and your heart. And I should be giving these out too. There's a thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Squirrel Girl, too. Petrazi says 8647 FDJT Pine Box now. Pine Box, yeah. I've kind of stopped, Petrazi. Every time I go on Political Punk, and I get more and more turned off by Tommy lately. He's one of those ones who is a burn it to the ground, burn everything to the ground. He's getting more and more like that, and it just turns me off. But anyhow, here's Petrazi's $2. I think this is the one that finished this out. Yippee! Here's your bonus yippee, Petrazi $2 super sticker. There's your thumbs up and your heart. Yeah, that's where we achieved the goal. So thank you so much for everyone who participated in the goal there. I do appreciate you. And everyone else for being here, liking, subscribing, and sharing. And that all goes a long way. Yeah, I'm just skipping down. We are over 2 hours, so, and I think I got all my memes that I was going to put up. Yeah, I think I did. I think I got to them all. WW, do you think this is real? I like this one. I made this one I used AI. Letter I. Not AY, EYE, but AI. I used AI. I went into ChatGTP and I said, hey, make me a picture of Pee Wee Herman in a pink suit and make the text say Pinky Herman. And that's what it made. First try. I didn't have to go back and go, no this or no that. First try, I was like, I love it. I love it. It's perfect. I mean, that's almost exactly what I was picturing in my mind when I told AI to make this meme. I guess that would be a meme because it has words on it. But anyhow, came out good. WW, if the Epstein files are invasive on the privacy of the victims, as has been happening, they are not worth exposing. Some victims are married to their exploiters. You turn everything around, don't you? The Trump administration has been released, the files that they have been releasing, they've been doing it in an illegal way. They have been exposing the people that are not supposed to be exposing, and they've been redacting the people that are not supposed to be redacted. You stupid dope. Stop turning things around. You are such a dope. Yeah, that's the problem. They've been doing it wrong. That's what people are complaining about, you stupid idiot. They've been complaining about the victims and the survivors getting their personal information released while the perpetrators have gotten everything redacted. You stupid idiot motherfucker. Jesus Christ. Are you happy now? It took you 2 hours and 31 minutes to get me to finally fucking blow my stack at you. Are you finally fucking happy? You had to say something so fucking stupid. You finally got me to blow my lid. You motherfucker. Fuck off. You stupid fuck. That's the exact fucking problem that everyone's been complaining about, you stupid motherfucker. Yes, we want the Epstein files released, but we want the survivors' personal information to be redacted. But we want the fucking perpetrators' information to not be redacted, you stupid idiot. God damn it. You're stupid. So here's the David Weiss $2 super chat. It says, boom. Thank you so much. Yippee, David Weiss. I don't know if that was a bonus yippee or if I just missed it or what, but thank you, David Weiss. I appreciate you. The Petroleum, those men need to be publicly shamed. They need, like I just said, the perpetrators, the perps, they're the ones that need to be exposed. And the way that Trump and Ted Blanche and before him, Bondi, the way they were doing it was the exact opposite of the way they were supposed to be doing it. You stupid motherfucker. I'm talking to WW. Just so you know, if I'm calling someone a stupid motherfucker, it's more than likely WW. I'm not calling anyone else that. The acronyms are often mispronounced. How do you mispronounce AI? Ninja Daniel says they do not care about the survivors, but have been hiding the names of the predators, not paying attention. DPD, TJ, I have some edibles and gummies I can FedEx you help to calm me down. WW. Trump refuses to allow the files to be spoken of in the White House. AY. What the fuck is AY? Well, I've caught up with the chat. Now I'm like the dog who caught the tailpipe. I don't know what to do with it. Mr. Spock says, seems like WW has a different perspective on things. Diversity is good. We are all in this together. I'm rooting for you. Red, green. WW just, I'm sure he's laughing because he finally got me to blow up. That's his goal. That's what trolls do. Anyhow, we're over 2 hours. I do have to get going. I got to go catch a bus in this 107 degrees. It says it's 107 now. I got to go catch a bus in this 107 degree heat. So I guess I got to do what I got to do. Yeah. But thanks for being here, guys. You guys are awesome. I do appreciate you for being here, hanging out. I feel a little like I don't know, that little yelling spree. See, I can't be a fighter. You want me to be a fighter? I can't even have a little yelling spree without getting tired. Anyhow, thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for all your chats, because that's what gives me something to talk about. If it wasn't for your guys' chats, this would be a very boring show. The show is made up because of you and what you contribute. And yes, I'll even include WW on that. If it wasn't for you guys, there would be no show. This show is about you and what you guys have. Your input is what makes the show. So thank you so much for doing that for me. And thanks for, putting up with everything. WW, I have my echocardiogram on Thursday. I hope that goes well. WW, hope that all goes well for you. Mr. Spock, I think he meant hike to work with a gas can. TJ, bet you get there quicker than the bus and free. Yeah, I don't think it would work here. Especially since there's a gas station right down the street. So if I did get a ride, they would go, okay, I'm not going to take you to the gas station 18 miles away. That would be stupid. Here's one that's a quarter mile away. I'll take you there. Damon Dog, the big old dog. Damon Dog, the big old dog. Damon Dog, the big old dog is here. So I've been lurking and working big. Been working big. Finally got to sit for a spell. Well, Damon Dog, thanks for coming in. I appreciate you. Thanks for lurking and working. Squirrel Girl says, love you, Trucker John, Jolie, Aaron, and Trucklers, even W, I think. Yeah, well, thank you, Squirrel Girl. We appreciate you, and thanks for being here. I do appreciate it. DBD says, I'm glad you made your goal, TJ, and take an ice bag with you while you wait for the bus. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. WW probably can't take a gas can on the bus. Well, the idea of the gas can is to get a ride from a person's. Not, you wouldn't be on the bus. You'd be getting rides from people in a car. The idea is to pretend like you're out of gas, and so you need a ride to the gas station. Now, I suspect where Mr. Spock lives, he lives out in the sticks. And if he gets someone to drive by the road out there, they're going to give him a ride into town. And that's where the gas station is. But he doesn't really need gas. He just wanted to go to the store or to the dispensary or whatever. So that works out for him. But for me, it wouldn't work out because, like I said, there's a gas station about a quarter mile down the road, so probably wouldn't get any rides anyhow. And if anyone did pick me up, they're not going to take me to the gas station that's 18 miles across town and where we would pass probably 38 gas stations on the way. Yeah, it doesn't work in the city, but WW. Nick Rich, my e-scooter would take about an hour to get you 20 minutes. Yeah, that's what I figured. If I got an e-bike, I figured maybe 45 at the quickest, probably an hour. And that cuts the time about in half, the hour, which would be nice. Like I said, I wouldn't mind getting an e-bike, but I still want to get the car first because I would rather have the car and then maybe have an e-bike just to do as when it's cooler out. When the temperatures are cooler, it's nicer, and just as a thing to do occasionally. I wouldn't want that to be my sole transportation. Like I said, if my job was only 2 or 3 miles away, then that would be one thing. But since it's at least 18 miles, lots of surface streets, lots of signal lights, all that kind of shit, lots of traffic. So I might have to make some special route that's less trafficy. There's a whole thing. There's a whole process to it. So, the car is still the best thing, best bet. MJ Daniels, maybe if you wear something sexy. Yeah. Yeah. I'll hike up my shorts. Stick my leg out there with my gas can. That should do it. No. DVD W says John has something he wanted to tell you. Can't remember what. There was nothing I was going to say to DVD. I said whatever I was going to say. I said it. So I don't know. Don't be starting shit, W. Anywho, I guess that's it for today, guys. I'll see you again on Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Petrazi, John and some Daisy Dukes. Oh, yeah. Well, I probably... Now that I think about it, this is Vegas. That probably would help me get rides. But yeah, guys, I got to get going. I'll see you guys again on Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Thank you guys so much for being here. You guys are awesome. You're an awesome group of 25 people. Who needs thousands and thousands of people when you get the 25 like cream of the crop right here in the driver's lounge? We don't need 5,000 or 10,000 or 1,500 or whatever people in here. Fuck no. We got the best 25 to 30 people on the fucking internet right here in the chat room. So thank you guys for being here. Just trying to think if I forgot anything. I don't think so. We'll be back Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Those are the days, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays, right here on Trucker John channel, right here on YouTube. I'll see you guys then. The only thing left to do before this microphone dies, we've been on for almost 3 hours. Mike might die, so I got to hurry and get this in. If you guys want to write down, I got words of wisdom coming up. You might want to consider getting a paper, pen, something like that. Write it down. Okay, let's say goodbye to Pinky Herman and to Ted Lieu. You guys ready? All right, so for today's words of wisdom, this is very, very apropos, as the French might say, to today's subjects. Okay, ready? So first of all,
well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes, might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes, but if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I tried to kill. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid, but doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John live stream. No, this time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Rolling down the highway in my rusty old rig. I'm a retired trucker, but my spirit's still big. Living in Vegas, where the lights never sleep. Broadcasting my thoughts for the world to keep. From politics to pop culture, I've got it all. Sharing my views, no matter how big or small. Talking about food, the movies and bugs. Shining a light on all the social issues. No shows, I've driven through the desert, seen the city so bright. But now I'm living in a different kind of fight. From my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free.
want to take a trip down Paradise Road, but it ain't that pretty, it ain't paved with gold. Everybody's got the dirty little secrets, everybody's got some things unknown. But if you ain't real careful, baby, it'll cut you down to the bone. Under all those bright lights, you've gotta learn to ignore the glitter. It's all about fight or flight, and you don't wanna do either. So go on down to Paradise Road, it'll make you wish that you were young. But all it'll do is make you feel old and regret trading in your love for lust. It's all just a big charade, it's all just one big game, and it ain't about love, it's all about the thrills. It's about staying in the hunt, it's about going in for the kill. So head on down to Paradise Road, that's where your friends are now. They're the people that nobody knows. So go ahead and make your big show. So live it up on Paradise Road, just don't let anyone know. It'll be your dirty little secret, it'll be your guilty little pleasure. Living a secret that the whole world sees, hiding in plain sight among the scum and the thieves. It's so damn hard to ever be pleased. Everyone wants to live the good life, everybody wants a piece of paradise. But where would you run? Where would you hide? What would you do to buy a little more time? Grandiose dreams of happily ever after are really just another day's end. And when the sun goes down, you just lay there wondering, can you really do it all again? You're praying for one last shot, you're hoping for one last big win. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along.
Sad and I don't cry. Sometimes I wonder why it takes so long for evil men to die. But I want you to know that when you go, you won't be missed. And the ground where you'll lay, we're all gonna take a big giant piss. And for your end, we all anticipate, without any love and too exhausted to hate. Your long-lasting legacy will be one of disgrace and shame. Throughout the annals of history, your name will shrink, you'll lose your fame. And as you lay there drawing in your final breath, just know that you made us happiest in death. You will not be thought of kindly, and you won't be missed. And like I said before, on the ground you'll lay, I'm gonna take a big old piss.
show's over. I'm out of here, folks. Bye.